Today, Kipsters will be able to solve for tax rate. Markup rate. And tip rate. So, most of you probably already have in your heads, this sounds a lot like yesterday, Mr. Boots. It is very much like yesterday. We're going to be solving for percentages. The difference is we're going to be dealing with different types of markup problems here. So remember, sales taxes, markups, and tips, they're all the same thing. They're all just markups. So when we're looking at these particular problems, we're going to label these type of problems as markup rates. Whether it's a sales tax rate or what? Markup rate. All right, so Terrell went out to dinner with his friends. The meal cost $35, but they left $42 for the waiter. What percent was the tip that they left? So, just like yesterday, we have to think about what are we being asked to solve for, what are we given, and then how are we going to get it? So, first thing, it says, what percent is the tip that they left? The tip was blank percent, which tells me I know what am I solving for. I'm solving for this markup rate, or this percent change, this change in this percent that was added on. Now, it says the meal costs $35. What piece of information is that? Renee. That's the original amount. Originally it was $35. They left $42 for the waiter. What is the $42?
Tip.
Andrea. Yeah, that's the final amount. So they left $42 in total, which means how much did they add for the tip? Mr. Matlock? 7. So we could find that by doing 42 minus 35. They left a $7 tip. How are we going to find our tip rate or our markup rate? Engage your brains. How can we find the tip rate? How can we find the percentage of tip that was left? Ricardo. No. It's like I didn't even talk yesterday. This is not what I want to hear. Isaiah.
Make an equation.
Perfect. We can make an equation with an unknown. 35 times some unknown rate is equal to 7. Now all we have to do, if we want to know that R, that's our tip rate. We boxed it in. That's what we want to know. We just need to solve the equation. Divide both sides by 35. We're going to get R is equal to 0.2. Move the decimal 1 2 times. That's going to be 20%. 28. 20%. So, waiters or waitresses, a lot of times will kind of do this math quickly and mentally when they receive a tip because they're curious to know what the person thought of their service. So a typical tip at a restaurant, the cultural norm is 15 to 20%. So if they get a tip and they calculate the tip percentage in their head really quickly, they can say, oh, I did really great service. So that's good feedback for them if they got something above a 20% that says, hey, I must have done a really awesome job. If they get something below 15%, that should be assigned to them that, hey, that's immediate feedback to them. I must not have done a very good job with this particular group of customers. Okay? So That's one way that this is used in the real world. Michael. So we are solving for the percentage here, so there's no benchmarks. All right. Adrian bought a pair of shoes at the store for $58. The price had been marked up from $50. What was the markup rate? So again, we see this type of problem is a markup rate. The markup rate was blank percent. So I know that I'm solving for this here. Now I got to figure out what information is given to me. Adrian bought a pair of shoes from the store for $58. $58. What is the $58? Which piece of information is that? Winta. Original price. So this is one where we have to be really, really careful. If we think about this and what type of problem we wrote down, we have a markup. So that means the price went from a lower number to a higher number. So if we've got the original amount and the final amount given to us, that can't be the way that this worked out. Sadie. Yeah, 50 is the 58 is the final amount. That's how much he finally paid for it. Okay? So you got to be really crystal clear and think about the situation as you're reading it to make sure that you get that information in the right place. The original amount was what? $50. So that's what the store bought it at. And then they marked it up to $58 to sell it to. Okay? So the question is, how do we figure out what my markup rate is? What do I need to do here? Jacqueline. Yeah, I'm going to subtract 58 minus 50. And that's going to tell me how much they added to the price. How much did they add to the price? $8. Now, how can I figure out what my markup rate is? Oscar? Write an equation. 50 times R is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 50. R is equal to 0.16. Move the decimal 1 2 times. It's going to be 16%. Alright, so they had a 16% markup here. That's actually a very small markup in terms of retailers and shoes. Alright, next one. Says, in Texas, Ms. Atkinson goes to Aldo Outlet and buys $100 worth of shoes and pays $8.25 in sales tax. What was the sales tax rate? Okay, so again, this is a markup rate. Remember, sales tax is just a markup. So we're just finding a markup rate here. The sales tax rate was blank percent. All right, what information is given to us? Mr. Ross. So where does that go? 1, 2, or 3? So you're saying $8.25 is the final amount? Yeah, 2. That's how much was added on. So that much was added on in sales tax. All right? Now the question is, added on to what? What's the original amount here? Mr. Ross? $100. So the original amount is $100. So At this point, we have everything we need. We don't really need to know the final amount. We could calculate the final amount was $108.25, but who cares? It doesn't matter. It's not part of our equation. How am I going to figure out what my sales tax rate was? Mia. How am I going to figure out what my sales tax rate was? Make an equation. 100 times R is equal to 8.25. Divide both sides by 100. R is equal to 8.25 divided by 100. 100 goes into 8, 0 times. 100 goes into 82, 0 times. 100 goes into 825, 8 times. Gives me 800. It's 25. Bring down the 0. 100 goes in 2 times. It's 200. And remember I said I want you to go out to that 4th decimal place, so you can round from there. But we're really lucky here. Actually, we get a number there that stops at that 4th decimal place, so we don't have to round. 0.0825. Move the decimal 2 times. That is 8.25%. 8.25% sales tax. Damien, what was your question? What was your question? Same thing as what? Oh, yeah, because actually if we think about percent, that means per 100. So when we had 100, we actually probably could have known that one immediately. Oh, it went away. All right. Store marks up a pair of shoes from $20. They add $8 to the price. What is the markup rate? So again, we see this, it clearly states what is the markup rate. So this is going to be a markup rate problem. And we're going to be saying the markup rate is blank percent. Now we got to figure out what information is given to us. Star marks up a pair of shoes from $20. $20 is the original amount. It says from $20. That should be, that from should kind of in our head say, hey, from. That was what it was originally. It started at 20. They add $8 to the price. $8 is not the discount, but the markup. Same idea, it goes in the same place. That's how much it changed. That's why we got that delta down there. That's how much the price was changed. That tells us we could figure out the final amount was $28. But again, that's not part of our equation, so we really didn't need to know that. We can set up our equation. 20 times R is equal to 8. Divide both sides by 20. We should get that R is equal to 0.4. Move the decimal 2 times. 1, 2. That's going to be 40%. Questions?
No.
Key points. Mr. Matlock. M&M.
The key point is if it's a markup rate, then I'm not saying.
Okay.
Can you come back to me?
Yes, maybe somebody will cover your words for you. Oscar. All right, markup rate problems. Oops, what I'm hearing him say is markup rate problems. Are solved. Oops, are. With an equation and I'm going to put it in parentheses here, just like discount rates. And so really we can memorize one equation, original amount, times the percentage of change, whether that be a markup percentage or a discount percentage, tells us how much the change is, whether that change be a markup, whether it be a discount, whatever it is. That's the same equation that we use every time. Mr. Posey.
If it's a markup, you are going to subtract your final price by your, you're going to subtract your original price by your final price.
Perfect. If not given the markup, comma, subtract OA and FA to find the amount of change. Let's find the change. How much it changed? That markup. Figure out what that is by subtracting the original amount and the final amount. Those are two wonderfully well-spoken key points. We breezed through this lesson today. We're going to have tons of time to get our work done and to hopefully get some start on our homework.